Blog Talk Radio.
Thank you for joining me here on a actually special edition of Activating Compassion Radio. This is an extra show that we are doing today. My name is Jessie Ann Nichols George, and I'm your hostess. The music you were listening to at the beginning of the show is the Weed Out Hate song. That almost twisted my tongue around pretty darn good there, didn't it? And I just want to extend a welcome to everybody that's joining us here today. If you've listened to my show before, you're used to catching it on Friday, and we are still having our Friday show tomorrow, by the way. This just happens to be an extra broadcast today for a special event that's coming up for April 3rd called Read Out Hate Day, and you're going to learn all about that today. And I want to extend a welcome also to those that are jumping in listening to us for the very first time. You'll probably enjoy what you hear here. You'll want to learn and delve into more of the other shows that I do here through Activating Compassion Radio on Main Street Universe, and check out all the other incredible guests I have as well that come through the show. I do stream live here in 3 additional places: TalkStream Live, StreamFinder, and Penn, also known as Pair Encounters Network. And I welcome everyone listening through those channels, as well as those that are catching it in our podcast at iTunes, TuneIn.com, and through the YouTube channel. Here at Activating Compassion Radio, what I do is I look at the different ways that compassion exists in our lives, how to remove our blocks, resistances, frustrations, and more. And some weeks I'm discussing the different aspects of how compassion's in our life, how it affects our life, and the different areas of compassion. And then oftentimes what I do is I have different guests that are on the show, like today, this being a special edition is all about our guests and the work that they're doing. And sometimes I have exercises, practical implementation. Sometimes I have musical artists on the show. In the past, I've had Stephen Halpern, Peter Cater, as well as several other musical guests. Tomorrow on the main regular show of Activating Compassion Radio, I've got Woven Green coming on. So that's Jim and Ashley Cash will be with me sharing their work. And that's really fantastic. I'm excited to have them coming on tomorrow as well. What I do in my own work is I focus on helping people find a new compassion in their everyday lives. I've created the Genesis Clearing Statement, and if you've missed that, you can catch it in our archives. I've also authored 4 books, the most recent being You, Me, Life Dreams, and its companion workbook, and then my first 2 books, Activating Compassion and its companion workbook, and I do have a 5th one coming out. It's in the process. The first layer of release on that should be coming out almost any time here this spring, summer time frame, and that is called Embraced by the Divine. And that is women's anthologies on making it through the dark night of the soul. So I'm very excited to be a co-author on that book and to share that work as well. In addition, I've created the Compassion Tour, which I am currently on for 2015. It's a multi-state nationwide tour, including workshops, retreats, seminars, book signings, and fundraising events. And you can certainly follow all of these things through my website at JessieAnnNicholsGeorge1.com. And for those that are wondering, hey, maybe are you going to be in my area? I'm probably going to be in your area at some point, sometime. If not, I might be close by. Please do drop by and see me on tour. This weekend I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area. From there I'm going into Portland, Oregon. I'll be there for about a week. I've got an event in the Leavenworth, Washington area. And then I'm headed over to Denver, Colorado. From there, I'll be in South Dakota in the Black Hills running an event. And then from there, I've still got a couple of things up in the air where we're going to put them all in, but I'll be going into Galesburg, Illinois. I'll also be going into Kansas City, Missouri. I've got events scheduled in Traverse City, Michigan, and also out in Pennsylvania, Connecticut, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Maryland, New York, the entire eastern seaboard over there. So I'm going to have a whole lot of fun, and there will be some other ones coming up, so you just got to follow and see where they're at. Just a reminder, if you enjoyed the show today, make certain you share it with other people, because this show has got a really great impact, and this is something that we really want to encourage you to check out and hopefully feel inspired by, and who knows, you might change a life along the way. You might build a connection, make a new friend along the way in the process of sharing the show. I know I do it all the time. I have people that come to me and go, oh my gosh, this is such a great idea. I would love to learn more about this, or thanks for sharing this. I was just looking for something to do. In the case of maybe this show, just looking for something to do with my kids here, or just wanting a way to honor spring. And this is going to be a great way to do it, as you'll find out today. They can, again, just go to my website, JessieAnnNicholsGeorge1.com. They can use the same link to get into it as you did to come into it today, and it's available immediately after we're done. So lots of good things there. We are shaking it up and doing a little bit different format in some ways today, since this is a special edition show, and we're only running for the hour today instead of a full 2-hour show. Now, a little insight because our guest is going to be talking about sowing the seeds of peace. And so many of you that listened before, you know I like to delve into the 72 names of God. Well, I'm saving that for tomorrow's show, keeping that. But I'm going to delve into something different today. And that comes from the Dictionary of Dreams, Signs, and Symbols, the source code. And it's done by an author by the name of Kaya, Kaya. And I love his work. He's got a couple of books out and absolutely love what he does. But I want to read what his interpretation of the symbol of sowing is. And sowing, we're talking about working with the ground as opposed to needle, stitch, and thread in there. Now, the concept of sowing indicates the way we construct our life, the way in which we prepare the different stages, which will lead us to abundance on all levels. When we sow, we are active. We are involved in preparing the future so that one day we may reap the fruits of our efforts. Agriculture, farming, gives us in-depth teaching of the principles of abundance, patience, conscious work that sooner or later will engender the results planned by Providence. Farmers submit to the laws of nature and have to accept what resources up above provides. It is the same for all of us in our work, because numerous imponderables may perturb our harvest. It is important to remember that we always reap what we sow in this life or another. That is why we sometimes reap difficulties, even though we don't think that we deserve them. In the universal education of the soul, the principle of merit is absolute. It is not based on life, but rather on the whole collection of our multiple lives. We are the creators of our happiness and unhappiness. Sowing symbolizes that we are ready to commit ourselves to a new project, to make an effort, to be patient, and allow the time necessary for all the phases of evolution. Since most seeds are sown in the ground, they represent the first stage of materialization, as well as the potentiality of beautiful resources or energies in our concrete world, which are in the process of being of preparation or realization. Sowing also acts on the energy level because each time we think, communicate, or interact with someone, we sow a certain vibration, a seed of knowledge, which one day will become concrete and be transformed into projects, new realities, etc. Ultimately, we are all farmers, and it is no coincidence that this activity was one of the first professions in the world. It is important to sow beautiful states of conscience, beautiful initiatives, in order to reap beautiful work. It is also essential to know that in a dream, when we see a positive sowing stage, it means that a project is beginning and that it will take some time before it materializes concretely in our life. Now, this is really interesting because this just completely fits in with our guest. He's been sowing some incredible seeds, and he's making a wonderful initiative that we're going to learn about today. And also in this process, it's very interesting that out of numerous places that I could have ended up, I'm sitting in a farming community, farming some of it for grapes and wineries, but also for, other types of things. Pimentos are big around the area here, and many types of food. So it's exciting because last year, I remember when I was on tour, I kept having a lot of dreams of sowing things and farming lands, and here it is a year later, and finally things are materializing. So today, who I have with me is Marc Daniels. He's the founder of Weed Out Hate, and he is taking his grandfather's vision of nurturing trees and shrubs, which connects homeowners to nature, to the next level, intending to better connect future generations of gardeners and kindergartners with nature for the higher purpose of improving the fabric of society. Weed Out Hate removes the obstacles that prevent us from feeling and drawing upon the strong roots that we already have, and assists in enriching and stimulating our education roots. Marc says that it empowers even the smallest child to condition its future self, as well as the future garden through learning to remove acculturated prejudice. He has spent 30 years of his professional life working with the green industry, and the past 5 years focused on researching the spiritual, cultural, and ecological roots of global gardening trends, and feels it is time to sow the seeds of inspiration and wisdom. And we're looking today at Marc's Weed Out Hate organization. We have Weed Out Hate Day coming up, which we're going to be taking a look at, and Peace Seeds in Selma. And you can definitely learn more about this work at weedouthate.org. Also go to Facebook, where we have the event page up for Weed Out Hate Day. So you want to check all of those out. And I'm going to open up Marc's mic here. And Marc, it's absolutely wonderful. And I should mention, we had you on a full show of Activating Compassion last year. So if anybody wants to check out that full show, they can also go back and catch that in the archives. But it's fantastic to have you back again.
It's wonderful to be here. I wish all of your friends the best for today and invite everybody and anybody to take part in our global Weed Out Hate event on the 3rd of April.
And this is exciting. I love that you're doing this. And this, by the way, is a virtual event, right? So people can participate anywhere that they are in the world.
Right. To begin with, I'd like to acknowledge a great artist and musician who composed and produced the introductory song King Code. And this is Daimyo Jackson, the world's most famous living Michael Jackson entertainer, and he lives in Germany right now. And there's an interesting story that connects to all of this, that he and I met through social networking, and we made a meeting in Cologne, Germany, and within 2 weeks he had begun composing Weed Out Hate songs. This particular song is his newest song that came out of an experience I had, of all places, in the most in a very violent area of the world today, Ferguson, Missouri. When the protests first came out after the shooting of Mike Brown, I'm 90 miles away, and I decided to go down there with my Weed Out Hate message and my peace seeds. And who do I meet there but African-American comedian Dick Gregory and the president of the Southern Leadership Christian Conference, Dr. Charles Steele. Now, this is the organization that Martin Luther King founded some 50 years ago. And in the course of our conversation, I mentioned that I was going to be attending the 50-year commemoration of Dr. King's visit to what was East Berlin, the divided city, and I'd love to reconnect with him there. And in a follow-up phone call, I said, I know a great artist that would like to compose a song to be the commemorative song of the 50-year anniversary of Dr. Martin Luther King's great visit to Berlin. And this artist was Daimyo Jackson, and this song, King Code, was a song that he performed in front of a packed church audience and also in front of Dr. Steele and civil rights activist leader Dr. Bernard Lafayette. I spent the weekend with both of them. And it was really an experience to feel the combined spirits of Michael Jackson, the king of pop, and Dr. Martin Luther King, the king, combined to energize people's hearts and minds. And this is precisely the spirit of Weed Out Hate. And I want to thank Jesse for using this King Code song as our introduction. Are you there, Jesse? Hello? Hello? In any case, the Weed Out Hate initiative was founded 4 years ago. It was founded 4 years ago in Springfield, Illinois, when I went to the Abraham Lincoln home site and rooted out first symbolic weed and planted my first seed. And the concept is very simple. By inspiring children to relate the weeding of the garden to the global desire, to the individual desire to root out our detachments. It's like a spiritual prayer. It's like a meditation that draws all kinds of light through our souls into our prison souls and reflects it as an aura all around us. And this idea has grown over the past number of years. I've gone to several schools throughout the country, more or less just to try to inspire kids to use gardening as a means to an end, from anything from transforming bullying into friendship and respect, to rooting out racism, to rooting out anti-Semitism, and it's such a basic and fundamental idea that a lot of people have begun to connect with it. I think we're having some technical difficulties. Jesse, are you there?
I'm here,
Hello?
Mark, and I apologize. Yes, I was having technical difficulties. My system switchboard was locked up on me, but you were getting some really great information in there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know whether you had gone out or anything. I'm glad that you're back.
Yeah, I apologize with that. And this is some really powerful work that you've been doing, and I've been watching you grow and develop over time with this work and with bringing this work out and as you say, honoring the work of Martin Luther King. And I believe you have a very particular reason why you chose the Weed Out Hate Day to be at this time. It's related to Martin Luther King, isn't it?
Right. One day before his assassination, he gave a speech. He gave a talk in front of striking sanitation workers in Memphis, Tennessee, which turned out to be his last speech. This was the speech where he told his audience that he had been up to the mountaintop and he had seen the promised land. He may not get there with us, but we as a people will get to the promised land. And this is the magic of the tribute. Through Weed Out Hate, by reconnecting with God and nature, by taking the physical action of rooting out an inner weed of hatred, we not only pay tribute to the great vision and dream of Martin Luther King, but we also help fulfill his vision and dream of having all of us, we as a people, get to the spiritual promised land.
And this is really important because there's a very unique connection when we combine the physical act of going out and pulling out a weed with the mental thought and the emotional feeling of that as well. And this is where we get into what I would refer to as a conscious gardening, things like this. And it's something that I've actually put a special focus on this year as I'm touring, and I'm going through places. And I drive through a lot of places, and I see a lot of different types of terrain and land. But this year I said to myself, I'm really going to focus on the energy of where I'm passing through. Not just what is the land telling me in a sense, but what is it feeling? What is its vibration? And we need to do this. I mean, on
absolutely.
multiple levels.
And absolutely. The most rigorous test of this concept was right in the middle of the demonstrators and protests in Ferguson, Missouri, when I was going at it with the local Ferguson citizens who were outraged and asking them to pose for me, rooting out symbolic weeds of hatred, black hands on white hands on black hands, rooting out the weeds and then planting seeds in their place. It was a very powerful and emotional moment for me to experience that.
And I think this is something that's so important because so many times I have sadly seen where different cultures are starting to predominate, or maybe there was one culture predominant for a long time, and now different cultures predominating in an area. And here they're blessed with the power to bring peace, to bring unity, and I too frequently see the hatred there and the revenge there.
Absolutely. It has to do with the perception of hatred. Weed Out Hate takes the philosophy that hatred is an extension of our egoism, it's an extension of our inner urge for gratification that we can never get through ourselves, and it's our frustration of last resort. And the more energy we build up internally, the greater the spiritual potential to reflect it, which means that if we could ever draw upon all that negativity that's building up in our society and redirect it into spirituality, there would be enough spirituality to thrust us all over the top.
And I agree, absolutely. And, I feel, too, because I remember planting seeds many years ago when I was a Girl Scout. And we had a thing where it was about reestablishing trees on the earth. And so a lot of people got these little pine trees to grow, and they started in a milk carton. Well, they ran out of pine trees, and I had a seed. I had a seed to work with. And everybody's like, oh, you'll never grow a pine tree from the seed. And I nurtured that thing. Boy, I planted it. And when I planted it, I said to it, you know what? You are going to be the most wonderful, incredible pine tree that I can create.
And you know what, Jesse? That tree grew inside your soul. Because while you were nurturing the horticultural tree, the horticultural seed, a seed was growing within your soul.
It was, and it was such a powerful connection because I watched that tree grow year after year after year, and my dad helped me replant it, and it eventually got placed into a city park when they redid the park to bring people together and to bring music and festivals to the park so that people could come and join and relax. And I donated it there. And actually, I was there over the last couple of months, and I did a video. My monthly video was filmed with my tree that I grew. I think I got the seeds like at the age of 8 or 9. So I know how powerful this is because I go back and my heart just opens and melts every time I see that tree when I get to go and visit it. And to our earth, this is a very powerful thing because our earth is such a huge reflection of our collective on the earth as a human species.
Absolutely. What I'd like to do now is to take a spiritual gardening trek, a spiritual gardening odyssey with all of your listeners. I'd like to ask them if they can, if they're not driving, to close their eyes. And imagine strolling through a labyrinth in a park, sensing exotic flora from all 4 corners of the world, landscaped in heavenly precision for transforming egoism into love. As you proceed, the call of mockingbirds mocking you, putting you in touch with the egoism you now desire to leave behind. With every step, surrounding flora blossom as if by magic with the most aromatic fragrances your senses have ever experienced, in perfect harmony with nature, for nature. This is what the Weed Out Hate experience can bring for you. And this is what I'm trying to bring across through Weed Out Hate Day, through National Weed Out Hate Day, through International Weed Out Hate Day. It's a one-to-one experience between you, nature, and the rest of us for first identifying our egoisms and meditating, praying, hoping to have these transform. That's the idea of the mockingbirds, recognition of the egoism within us, and then using nature to pull out, to stream out our spirituality through our spiritual roots that we reflect from our souls as auras, and then we connect with each other through these auras. That's what it's all about.
And as we do this, we're going to heal the earth naturally. when you plant a seed within it, you're planting healing for the earth, you're planting healing for yourself, you're planting healing for the collective, for the universe. It's very, very expansive, and it's amazing how we think about it. And within every seed, and I know I talked about this in a presentation I did about a year and a half ago, where you look at something and it's never just what we're seeing. And it was a lot of Native Americans that were there at that presentation, and they could completely relate to it because a lot of them are brought up around the elements in nature, and they said absolutely, because the seed is holding the entire universe within it. So we have to think, those seeds are really powerful things. The seed within us, the seed outside of us, it's an incredible, powerful thing. And to be lighthearted, I mean, your seeds are like sunflower seeds, and they're, they bring this bright happiness, joy. It reminds us to be that kind of carefree, lighthearted, and to be able to interact prolifically with other people of multiple beliefs and cultures.
We use our differences, rise above our differences, and unite through our differences as spiritual energy to create a gigantic upward spiritual magma stream. And this is the beauty of our differences, because when they are inverted for the intention of cleansing our souls, basically we begin initiating what I call in my manuscript the future Big Bang, a reverse Big Bang. The way we were created was the Big Bang, and the way back to the Garden of Eden is the reverse Big Bang.
And what you're describing here, too, is like we need all of these different groupings. We need all of these different insights to bring together some of the bigger spectrum. I know we're talking about plants, but maybe to also give people another metaphor to reference on this would be like it's the difference between trying to create something and make something to eat from one ingredient versus trying to utilize 10 ingredients. When you have 10 ingredients to work with, you've got a multiple amount of recipes and things that you can create. You have multiple things that can develop from that, whereas if you just have one ingredient, depending on that ingredient, it may not even be edible.
Well, that's right. Take for example the weeds in the garden. A lot of people don't even like to call weeds weeds. They call them wild kraut. They like to boil them, use them for tea, use them for herbs and substances. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I think the process of identifying a component in nature that exists to unfairly rob nutrients and water from other cultured plants that we want to grow, to root this out and then to compost it to the point where it becomes a natural substrate for enriching the garden that we're trying to flourish. This is the idea. This is the idea behind the weed out hate concept. And when we come to this epiphany, when we come to this realization that we can no longer get what we want through egoism, racism, anti-Semitism, and so forth, and general forms of hatred, this is when our latent inner king code is triggered. Much the same way that people become addicted on drugs and chemicals and things like this, there is a spiritual positive connection that involves being addicted to giving, being addicted to loving. The very act of, we begin to understand that the very act of nurturing and giving surges light through our spiritual roots and allows ourselves reflected onto others so that we feel this surging as spiritual electricity, which is infinite.
And this is such a powerful thing, too. Wherever somebody is at, whether they're in a very solid, comfortable space and they're just wanting to work on a project in their life or develop something in their life, or whether they, like most people over the last 5 years, have seen a tremendous amount of challenges and shifts and struggles, taking this act shifts our vibration in a way. It shifts our thoughts in a way to where we become supported in things, where we become interactive in things, where we can thrive and flourish. And these are the things that are going to bring us the cascading material results that a lot of people are struggling with right now, not having them. We're not having resources, and we're wondering, why are we having these heat waves and there's no water? Why are we having this excessive snow and there's no this? It's because we've embraced, I think, too much hate in the world, too much judgment, in my case, in the world. I say that in my case because my work is compassion, and judgment and hate, I think, go hand in hand there.
Well, weeding out hate is the ultimate King Code compassion trigger. I maintain that the worst haters in the world have the potential to be the greatest spiritual lovers. We just have to reach them in ways that they've never thought of being reached. And one of the nice things, one of the things that just happened this week is that I've just completed the process of getting my Weed Out Hate shopping cart online and streaming. And many of you listeners are probably already gardeners, and if you're like any other gardener, sunflowers are one of the most favorite seeds to sow in the garden. Well, what I've done, I've created a unique sunflower pea seed package with quality sunflower seeds made by Earl May Seed and Nursery of Shenandoah, Iowa. I packed them in a beautiful package called Pea Seeds with 6 steps towards weeding out hate and sowing the seeds of peace. On the back of the pack, you don't have the usual stuff, where to plant in sun and water and that stuff. It says, find yourself a partner, a community garden partner, a school partner, preferably of a different race and ethnicity. Then grass your hands together, root upon, and root out a symbolic weed of hatred. And after you're done with that, put a couple seeds in the hole, cover with soil, backfill, and then go to the next point in the garden. And I think this experience of taking sunflower pea seeds and doing this in your own garden with your children, perhaps with your grandchildren, perhaps ordering some of these seeds and sending them on to your relatives or friends. It's a great way for all of us to begin connecting together as one heart, one soul.
Absolutely, and I'm putting a little something, working on putting something in our chat room on that too, where people can go in and go to that shopping cart and things like that, and you've got the seeds there, and you've also got some other things in there. You've got the Weed Out Hate music CDs, and you've got a male aftershave, which I think is really an interesting thing that you're bringing in to all of this as well.
Now here is this is the power of spirituality. This is an aftershave that was originally a brand of the giant cosmetic concern, food concern Unilever. And they spun off this brand to a Swiss company by the name of Coda. And in certain parts of the world, this cosmetic sells very well in the Middle East, in India, in Africa, in Asia. But they've always had problems trying to come up with a positioning for the United States. And what I've done in my shopping cart is to position this cosmetic, this denim aftershave, and this denim eau de toilette as a spiritual pheromone that resembles the ripening and blossoming flora in our soul once we learn to recognize our egoism and transform it into beautiful, blossoming spirituality. And the reason I like the idea is that people communicate through sound, through speech, through music, and also through olfactory sensations, through the right type of fragrance or scent. And for men who wear this, it attracts immediate attention because it's a very catchy scent. People will ask, "Where did you get this thing? What is it?" And I said, "Well, it is the only fragrance that works like a spiritual pheromone, that works like a pheromone for weeding out hate and sowing the seeds of love. It's not like high karate where you slap it on and women attack you. It's a natural pheromone that lets people see who you really are inside. It gets the conversation.
I love this. I think we should just slap this over all of the politicians and the advertising companies, and let's see the truth of what's there. But more powerfully too, the sense of smell is incredibly powerful, Mark. As we know, the sense of smell unlocks all kinds of spiritual processes within us. It unlocks things not only from this lifetime, but previous lifetimes, parallel lifetimes. The power of smell is so associated with memory. And to have something that resonates in a way and triggers the memory of what you would refer to, I think, as the King Code, which is the code that leads us to be more compassionate. I think that's incredibly powerful.
And the reason it's King Code isn't necessarily because it's Michael Jackson, the King of Pop, or Martin Luther King. It's that King Code that both of them experienced that drove them to success, that drove them as leaders for leading humanity to a better place. And as I said before, Martin Luther King 50 years ago said, "I may not get there with you, but we as a people will get to the promised land." Well, here's our way. We have three methods. We have the possibility through spiritual gardening to root out symbolic weeds of hatred and then replenish that with seeds of peace. We have that through the auditory. And this was the interesting thing that Daimyo Jackson and I have worked together. I have coached Daimyo into which melodies and which syllables, vocalized syllables, can harmonize with people's inner king codes and bring them out. That's what's so potent and powerful about his song King Code and his second song Weed Out Hate, Sow the Seeds of Peace. So we have the gardening aspect, we have the audio aspect, the oral aspect, and then we have the olfactory aspect used in combination with each other, among each other, in a community garden setting. You will find your soulmate very quickly, because the natural flow of energies will come out unencumbered by whatever was hindering them before.
Knowing all of these different components, it's just so interesting to me to see how you brought them together, and like I said, watch things grow, because I remember a year ago you were up there just trying to knock on every door saying we need a Weed Out Hate Day. You didn't have a formalized Weed Out Hate Day set in place a year ago, and now you do. And then I watched you add these products in, and I thought, this is really interesting what he's doing, how he's bringing these specific components together, because they truly are very, very powerful components in
it's just amazing.
In our world.
It's just amazing. As I said, I gave a pack of seeds to Dr. Charles Steele while giving a Judaic tribute to Martin Luther King at this 50-year commemoration. The following morning at the formal church service, I actually gave a pack of the same pea seeds I was handing out in Ferguson to the President of Germany, Joachim Gauck. And he was floored because everyone was talking about we've made a lot of progress, but Ferguson has taught us all too well that we've got a long way to go. And I told the president, I said, "Mr. President, this is the way we go." And just last January, at the wreath laying ceremony at the Martin Luther King Memorial in Washington D.C. for Martin Luther King Day. I go into this very intimate ceremony, not many more than 100 people there, and I give a pack of peace seeds to one of the speakers, who turns out to be Secretary of Homeland Security Jay Johnson. With everything that he has to worry about, I'm giving him a pack of peace seeds.
And this is fun. You've made a huge impact. I have to say, you've made a huge impact getting in there, into these political realms, into communicating with these leaders of different countries, and it's truly amazing to me to watch this process in there. And I do want to mention on the Facebook page, Weed Out Hate Day, there, if people go in and is it that one, or the other one? Because I know you have two Weed Out Hate.
Okay, if you go to my Facebook page, Marc Daniels, M-E-R-C Daniels, you'll see an event called Weed Out Hate Day, and this is an event that both you, Jesse, and I will be in charge of for April the 3rd. And you go into this page, and one of the first entries is a special coupon for a 25% discount for anything ordered through my shop. I don't want to make any money on what's going to all my friends today. I just want to get the idea of the peace seeds, the music, and some of the fragrances out there. Just to provide all of you the possibility to connect with us.
And this is on there, and if you go to that page, just click join. Again, it's a virtual event, so you can be anywhere. You just click join on there, and there's a code on there that Marc has listed. I put it in the chat room. It's Whoa Jesse for those that are not on Blog Talk and are listening to this, WOHJESSE, into the coupon, and you'll get 25% discount on what you do purchase there. Shipping is free via the Postal Service mail, and that's the addresses within the continental U.S., by the way, so we want to mention that. And that's good through April 3rd, so, you can still even purchase stuff on April 3rd. Maybe you're busy that particular day and you have to do it the day before or day after. Ideally, you can get there and do something on the 3rd with this. But we also have a photo contest going on, and we're looking for photos of people, ideally of different ethnicities, working together, joining together. And I'll let you explain more about that as well, Marc.
Yeah, basically, now that you have the seeds in hand, you get together with family members or friends and photograph yourselves weeding out hate together. You can post your pictures online and qualify for valuable prizes from Jesse and a number of other people. I'll be giving away additional peace seeds, CDs, books from various authors across the country. And we want it to be kind of a spiritual gardening jubilee event. Wherever you are in the garden, you are in our garden and part of our spiritual garden family for this day.
And I think that's important, because I think it's so important for us to remember, and I've had this discussion numerous times with people, that it doesn't matter what color our skin is. When we come down to it, we're all in the same family. We all go back to the same king code. We all go back to the same source. And
we have to remember that the same king of the universe that gave us the power to grow our egoism and allow our inner weeds to take over is the same king of the universe, the creator, who gave us the possibility to transform all this negativity into something far stronger, spirituality, that will all allow us to reflect the inner king code colors, the brightest spectrum of reality that you can possibly experience. If you've ever walked through a botanical garden and felt so good after that experience, multiply that by about 1,000. And that's what we can feel by rooting out hatred and sowing the seeds of peace and love together.
And this ties in with so many other things as we've just completed the so-called ascension process, or ascension years over the last 2.5 years that just culminated on the 17th of March energetically. And so we have this beautiful portal that is welcoming in what we call the rainbow generation of children right now. And they are the spectrum, and they're not looking at colors, and they're not looking at races and cultures, and they're looking at us as people, and they're here to get us together onto this bandwagon. You know, they're here to get us together in this movement that you're starting on. I'm sure you must be a scout for them somehow, Mark, because you're right.
Well, we sense each other.
Is all about.
We sense each other. What is it about? What is it about bringing out our inner rainbows? It's getting out of our black and white reality, where the divine is as distant from our sensations as the constellations in the sky. It's bringing out our emerald spiritual nurturing intentions to nurture each other's spirit. It's knowing when to use our spiritual gamma knives when we see somebody who is doing something out of arrogance or egoism or racism, that we have the courage to gently shatter that egoistic stony heart, and then be ready with I call it a diamond-like gamma knife, and then be ready with a ruby red loving illuminator to allow the resulting quanta to rise and unite together. This is what bringing out our inner rainbow is all about, so that we not only bring out our inner rainbows within ourselves, but we begin to inspire other people to bring out their rainbows. And this is how we begin the process of connecting back into the Garden of Eden.
And you just brought out a huge point right there, and that is so many people sit around waiting for everybody else to do it with them. And we're not meant to just sit around waiting. We need to be that one that takes the leadership role and starts it and inspires others. And that doesn't mean you have to go out and necessarily knock on all your other neighbors' doors or whatever, but it just by simply doing, by participating in Weed Out Hate Day, this sort of thing, you will inspire others. You will absolutely inspire them.
And I just want to thank you, Jesse. You have been one of my greatest fans, and I'm certainly one of your greatest fans. And it's just a real pleasure to have the opportunity to dialogue with you, to have a conversation with you and your listeners for helping changing the world for the better.
And this is something I support, because we need this compassion, and anybody who's doing the type of work that you're doing to bring that compassion into the world, to bring peace into the world, and to get rid of the hate and get rid of the black and white barriers. I'm all for that, and doing it in ethical ways and combining these different components like you're doing with the earth. And I'm a strong believer of connecting with the earth. I can't help but support you in what you do, because it's in such greater alignment. And I want to have you kind of wrap up here, Mark, by, again, we have some different websites or different ways that people can connect with this project. So we have weedouthate.org and the Facebook page. But I'll let you share all of that and do a recap of what they can participate in with this Weed Out Hate Day and how they can connect with the work you're doing.
Oh, well, thank you so much. First of all, my website is weedouthate.org, and if you go to the shop on the menu, you'll see everything that we have to offer, tools that you can inspire and educate your children with, tools a teacher can instruct their students with. I have a Facebook presence under my name, Marc Daniels, and also a Weed Out Hate page. I'm also on Twitter at Weed Out Hate, all written together. And again, we're one great family, and by taking the simple act of extracting one single weed, it's no big deal. It takes 2 minutes of our time, we connect spiritually with one another and begin the process of fixing everything.
So very powerful. So very powerful. So again, this is a Weed Out Hate Day. It's going on April 3rd, and you can participate no matter where you are in the world. And it's about getting those weeds out that are creating toxicity in our environment, pulling those out of the earth, and at the same time using your thoughts and your heart to pull the hate out of your heart and the hate out of culture and society while you're doing that, and to engage that process. We have photo contests going on, so as you plant the seeds, as you're pulling the weeds out, you're planting the new seeds, do it with some other people. We're looking for those things, particularly if you can do it with a group of people of different cultures and beliefs and things like that as well, is all the more wonderful. And, who knows, get together a whole block of people and get your kids active in this. This is a perfect thing to do with kids and a perfect thing to be teaching them. WeedOutHate.org is the website. If you go on Facebook, Weed Out Hate Day is an event that's going on. Click on that. You'll get the information for the 25% off purchases and free shipping within the U.S. On that, you'll be able to find out about that. Just click join or join on that event. So, Marc, I really appreciate the time, and I'm really grateful that I could help bring this out with people in what you're doing and what's happening, and I just encourage everybody to get out there and participate in Weed Out Hate Day.
Thank you
April
again.
3rd. Thank you so much for being with us.
Okay, thank you.
And, if you missed any part of the show, and certainly share this show with other people, because this is a really big thing that we need to be focused on in our world. Weed Out Hate Day, April 3rd. Share the archives with them on the show so that they can learn about it and learn what it's all about in these connections, because they are powerful. And this is exactly a lot of what I talk about in my work with compassion, making these connections. So I do want to mention that tomorrow we will be back on with the regular show of Activating Compassion Radio, and I'm going to have Jim and Ashley Cash on of Woven Green with us, sharing their music, taking a look at other planetary projects that they have going on right now. They are the epitome of the spring equinox, and that's what we have tomorrow. So I'm so blessed to bring them to you on the spring equinox. So very, very excited about that. My books on relationships have been released. You can check out all my products and work that's going on, new videos that I put up along the way, all of those things that I offer, monthly specials. My book on compassion, Activating Compassion, is available for the ebook version, only 99 cents through the end of March, so take advantage of that. Right on my homepage, JessieAnnNicholsGeorge, the1.com. The show will also be archived on my page of the Main Street Universe tab on my website. And I want to mention, don't forget, we've got several shows here on Main Street Universe throughout the week. Monday nights is Randy Goldberg doing Vedic astrology. Tuesdays is Susan Weed, who shares her work in herbs and natural plants. She's currently doing a series of 13 magical treats. And Wednesday nights we have Daniel and Shanice hosting our flagship show called Main Street Universe. Backed oftentimes with Sarah and Despair. Janice is going to be doing her own show soon. And Kevin Bear is going to be popping in. Woven Green have their show popping in. All kinds of things. This is Jessie Ann Nichols George. Thank you so much for being here with us on Weed Out Hate Day special edition of Activating Compassion Radio. Thanks to all of our listeners, not only on Blog Talk, but those streaming live through PEN, known as Para Encounters Network, SpringFinder, TalkStream Live, and those catching our podcast at iTunes, TuneIn.com, and those catching the YouTube version of this show. Hey, I look forward to seeing you back here next week, or actually tomorrow, as we go more into Activating Compassion. And don't forget, if you've enjoyed the show, share it with others. This is a really, really important one to get in there. Join it on Facebook and be a part of it wherever you are in the world. I'm going to go ahead and leave you with the King Code song, which is aligned with the Weed Out Hate Day. It was created for this work. Take care. See you tomorrow.
Let's save the world